Who would have thought I'd actually marry her? But my fiancé's the real deal, dude. She's the daughter of a conglomerate president, and it's gonna be too much of a burden for me. Ah, hush, bro, it'll be okay. You're a good guy, you just gotta believe you can make her happy. You talk like this is a stranger's problem, man. Maybe because it is. Damn, bro, that hurts. My name is Shogo Makishima, and I work in an office of a small subcontractor business. The company president himself took a liking to me, and it was decided that I would marry his daughter, Miss Momoka. The reason I'm against this idea, as you can tell, is that my bride-to-be is a selfish and strong-willed young lady. I vented about this to my best friend, Kazuto. Let's think about it on a positive note. At least you're marrying into money and glory, huh? Yeah, maybe. But I don't think Miss Momoka and I really get along well with each other. Even on our first date together, she gave off an extremely strong aura of selfishness, and she was all dressed up in expensive clothes and had a lot of makeup on. By contrast, people would look at me and see the complete opposite. A plain, ordinary, unimpressive bloke. If I were to sit next to her, I'd probably look even more of a disappointment. Even during our following dates, I was forcefully dragged into expensive fashion stores.
I think this looks so cute. But what do you think, Mr. Shogo?
Well, miss, you look stunning to me. And we were just looking at the same kind of clothes not 2 minutes ago. How long until you're satisfied, woman?
Then I'll buy this too. And I want this one too.
Why don't we take a break soon?
We're just getting started, silly. Next we'll go over there. Grab the things, please.
Yes, of course. This is not even a date. I'm just her luggage boy at this point. I never had any opportunity to go to the stores I wanted to go to. However, there were times when she respected me.
Hello, Mr. Shogo.
Oh, hello, Miss Momoka. It's unusual for you to come to the office.
Here, take this.
What is this, miss?
It's your lunchbox.
My lunchbox?
Daddy told me that since I'm getting married, I should take better care of you, so...
Is that so?
I hope you're grateful, Shogo. I made it special for you.
Of course. Thank you so much. I know I'll enjoy this. Miss Momoka, with her face turning bright red, said what she said and scampered away as if she were suddenly bashful. So she has a surprisingly cute side. Maybe Miss Momoka and I will get along well and make things work. Months passed since then, and we got married. Because of her training as a housewife, she's able to do all the household chores well, and her cooking is always so delicious. I genuinely feel that she is a good wife. I'd underestimated her. One day, I was instructed to go on a business trip for about 5 days. It's possible that the trip will be longer than originally planned, so you'll probably be alone for a while. Would you be all right?
I'll be lonely for sure, but I'll be fine. Don't worry.
Hold on. Does she look happy, or am I tripping?
The day you come back home, I'll be waiting for you with your favorite fried chicken on the table.
Thank you, dear. I'll come home as soon as I can. Momoka was fidgeting for the last few days before my business trip, and when I asked her what was wrong, she answered me by saying she's going to be meeting up with friends of hers so that she wouldn't feel too lonely while I was away. I was hoping she wouldn't be too lonely while I was gone anyhow, and I was glad she had good friends to rely on this time. Since then, days went by, and before I knew it, I was aboard the train bound for my destination. And perhaps my efforts were worth it, for the work was done beautifully, and I actually finished earlier than expected. I'm sure she'll be happy that I'm able to get home early, since she told me about how lonely she would be. I bought a lot of souvenirs anyway. Maybe I should give her a nice surprise. With these thoughts in mind, I went back home without contacting her. I'm home! No, is she out maybe? I opened the front door and called out to her, but there was no response. So at first I thought she was out somewhere, but her shoes were still at the entrance. Not to mention the light is on in the living room. Hold on. 2 pairs of shoes? Those belong to a man, right? Who could it be? She'd told me she was hanging out with friends, but she didn't mention they were a guy. Well, on the other hand, she didn't mention they were a woman either, but this guy is close to her, enough to come over to her house. Could she be cheating on me? I thought this to myself, and I slipped into the house, treading upon the carpet more quietly than a feather in a sound room. Then I heard voices coming from her bedroom.
You really are the best, Hideki. You're just so different from someone we won't speak of.
Don't speak of him that way, come on. He's working hard for your sake, ain't he?
Well, sure he is. But it was my dad who made the decision. I mean, I didn't have much of a choice. I was actually against the idea, see?
Is he really that bad?
He's pretty good at his job and listens to what I have to say, but he's just not my type. I would have preferred being with someone like a host.
So he's plain and ordinary, huh? I guess the kind of guy that's flashy and fashionable like me is good for you, huh?
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to marry you, Hideki, but you're also already married, so I'm really shocked about that.
But we're having fun like this, aren't we?
We are, and I'm so happy about that. He's so boring, and I just couldn't help myself.
What the hell? You make it sound like he's frickin' incompetent. When I heard that conversation, I was so shocked that my mind went blank. But I immediately wanted to praise myself for recording the transaction. However, I wasn't so courageous as to barge into that room. So I just left the house. Perhaps they were about to start another round, but I didn't care at that point. God damn, man. This case is the cheesiest of cheesy, the corniest of corny, the most unoriginal, unimpressive love story in anime, manga, and romance novels combined. Not to mention the dude's married himself. This is gonna stir up quite an uproar for sure. Damn it. I think I'll go on another business trip. I decided to stay at a nearby business hotel and stayed away from Momoka for the time being. I don't want to see Momoka right now after all. I'll just say something about this in our DMs. Hey, Momoka, I'm sorry, my business trip is gonna take another while, it seems.
Really? Are affairs not going as planned with your partners?
The affairs we had planned on working to improve went well, but then we encountered a problem, and I was also instructed to meet up with other business partners.
It must be very difficult. Do your best, dear, okay?
It looks like it'll take me another week to get home.
A week? Is that true?
Afraid so.
I see. Please contact me before you come home then, okay? I'll make a lot of things that you like, okay?
Thank you, honey. Perhaps she was over the moon at that point, thinking she could go on cheating on me so freely. Maybe he's even still next to her right now. With these thoughts in mind, I dialed the number of someone in particular. Hello? It's me. There's something I'd like you to look into. If you could do it in the shortest possible time, say about a week, that would be awesome. It's possible? Let's go, you're a lifesaver. If I ask that particular individual to take care of the investigation, all should be well. As the investigation on the affair progressed, I decided to tell my father-in-law about his daughter as well. Sir, before I begin, I must ask you to remain calm. To tell you the truth, Miss Momoka has been having an affair. Momoka? An affair? Yes, sir. When I returned from a business trip, I discovered that she had brought another man into the house. Momoka wouldn't do such a thing. Here's the evidence. That cannot be true! Huh? Just as I was about to have him listen to the recording of the conversation, that's what he said. I understand that you want to believe your daughter's innocence, but the evidence is very real, sir. Mr. Shogo, why are you telling me such lies? Do you have any complaints about Momoka? By complaints? I mean, there's this situation. Momoka is a rather selfish girl, I admit. But she should be very proactive when it comes to housework. You yourself, Mr. Shogo, said these words before too, did you not? I admit I did, sir. Miss Momoka always makes the house perfect, and her cooking is always so delicious, but Why would you tell me such lies then? Honestly, young'uns these days just tell stupid, unfunny jokes like that, do they? It's not a joke, sir. I'm being serious. And I declare that there's no way my daughter would do something like that. And even if it was true, wouldn't you be the problem? Since she stopped loving you because of you? What? Momoka is not the kind of girl who would do something like that. You're at fault for not giving her the attention she deserves. You must be at fault to some extent in this situation. And yet you tell me my own daughter's to blame for everything. What the hell are you saying, you potato bald-ass raccoon dog? I struggled to contain my rage at his preposterous accusations. You can't blame me. Not only does he refuse to admit that his daughter's having an affair, but has the audacity to say it's my fault. If you act so disrespectfully, I will never forgive you. I shall show you the evidence and make you pay handsomely for her crimes. I acted quickly, gathering a good amount of evidence over the next week. I no longer felt any sadness or anything else anymore. I kept on thinking to myself, how could I make Momoka and her father suffer? After living this way for a while, a week came and went, and I decided to go back home.
Welcome back! 2 weeks had passed since you left. I was so lonely, honey.
You pale-skinned liar. You had just been seeing your loving boyfriend all this time, weren't you? But these were mere thoughts, and I came home with a smile on my face. Seems like her father kept the little incident between him and I a secret from his loving daughter, anyway.
You must be tired, honey. Probably best to take a bath first.
No, I showered before coming home.
Oh, then are you hungry? Do you want to eat first? The food is ready, you know.
No, thank you. I'm not that hungry, to be honest.
Oh, maybe you feel a little shy because we saw each other for the first time in a while?
That's definitely not it, silly.
Definitely not it.
I came home to talk today to tell you about this. I slammed a few dozen photographs on the living room table. Even though there was only a week or so for me to get all the photos, goddamn, there was still a lot of evidence. In other words, Momoka was meeting up with her partner in adultery so goddamn frequently.
Wait, what? What is this?
Don't you remember? All of these photos are of you, Miss Momoko.
No, this is not me!
That's just not true. The face, the hairstyle, the clothes, they're all you, and only you, Miss Momoko. You were having an affair, weren't you?
It's not like... No, this is just a friend of mine! A friend of mine!
There we go. A very common excuse to justify the lies. There's no reason why friends should hold hands or walk around arm in arm like this, right? There's no way what you say can be true.
That just means we're close enough to be doing that to each other.
That's something a woman shouldn't do if she has a husband, regardless of how close she is with that friend. If that were true, you're a pretty promiscuous little lady.
What makes you think you have the right to talk to me like that? I'm the president's daughter!
Is the daughter of a president really that almighty? You haven't even worked a proper job in your life, have you? Isn't there something else you can boast about other than being the president's daughter?
You've got some nerve making a fool out of me. I'm gonna tell Daddy about this.
And there we go again. It's so pathetic that you think you can intimidate me using your parents' authority. And besides, I think it's pointless to say things like that.
Huh? What are you talking about?
That's when the doorbell rang. I was just wondering if they were going to arrive soon. Mr. Shogo?
Oh, Daddy! You came just at the right time. This guy is being so bossy, so smack some sense into him.
Please forgive me. I beg of you.
Huh?
My father-in-law, paler than a slice of mozzarella, kneeled on the floor. I was genuinely amused by the baseball slide apology. It seemed a perfect act of divinity. His movements were so smooth that I thought he must be used to doing that as the president.
Daddy! What are you doing? What are you apologizing for?
You keep your mouth shut, girl! Mr. Shogo, I'm truly sorry for the other day. I've truly been reflecting on my actions. Please do something about Mr. Sasaki's misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? What do you mean? Mr. Sasaki told me to halt all transactions with our business. You told Mr. Sasaki about this particularly unpleasant situation, didn't you? How cruel of you. All I told President Sasaki was that my wife was having an affair with another man, and that her father didn't believe me and told me it was my fault. That's no misunderstanding, it's the truth, isn't it? Why would you tell him about this? Actually, while I was in the middle of gathering evidence of your daughter's affair, I discovered that her partner in crime was an employee of a large business partner of ours. And so I took the liberty of reporting the situation to President Sasaki. Excuse me? You were having an affair with a man from the company we work with?
I do remember him saying something like that.
Why didn't you tell me from the beginning?
Because no one asked.
If you told me that, I would have allowed you to marry that man.
But Hideki was already married. Nothing could have been done. He also had a family to think about and care for, after all.
So, he was already married. If you had married him, our business transactions would have been a lot better. But I suppose that can't be helped. So, you were always the kind of person who thought that way, I see. I understand very well now. Oh, no, perish the thought. All of that was... Oh, I understand. You think in such ways for the sake of your business. You only let me marry your daughter because you found out I'm quite close to the CEO of a major business partner of yours. Close enough to be involved in large transactions. Well, yes. Thank you for understanding. I do understand, but I believe it's quite against common knowledge to not be angry at all about your daughter's affair. First of all, how could you say that in front of her husband? What do you know about business, child? What's so wrong about a father choosing their daughter's husband for the sake of his business? I'm not exactly against that way of thinking. I just believe it's absolutely insane to say such things after the marriage is established. Couldn't that be the reason why President Sasaki dislikes you now? Mr. Sasaki dislikes me? I don't believe it. You'd better believe it. When we talked about this, he himself, word for word, said he would stop doing business with your business or die trying. Indeed, I'm on very friendly terms with Mr. Sasaki, the president of our largest business partner. I don't mean to brag, but I'm my workplace's top salesman, and I often have the opportunity to talk with presidents of companies. Not only am I a friend of his, but many other CEOs and presidents, and so Momoka's father thought I would be a good husband for her, business-wise. And thus, I told Mr. Sasaki about this affair. This is truly hard to say, sir, but it appears that one of your employees is having an affair with my wife. What? Is this true? I have a good deal of evidence, sir. I'll arrange for the immediate demotion of this employee. I'm so sorry he's caused so much trouble. It's my wife and he himself that are at fault, sir. You need not apologize, truly. And also, I'm glad that you believe what I'm saying, sir. Of course, son, I believe you. I can't imagine you telling me any lie after all. Actually, my father-in-law never did believe me. Excuse me? Not only did he not believe me, but he even went and declared I was at fault. I just knew that bastard was no good. Huh? Actually, I've been reconsidering doing business with them lately. What? Have you discovered something that's questionable? I have no complaints about you, son. You've been so good to us, and we really appreciate it. The reviews about you from other companies seem to be through the roof, it seems. That's hard to believe. I simply don't really like the man's policies. I understand that his business is smaller than mine, and he has a harder time managing it, but his cost-cutting efforts to maximize profits and his domineering attitude towards his employees are causing a slew of problems, aren't they? Well, I think he struck the jackpot. My business and his had a good relationship since the previous generation, and you've been so good to us. Those two reasons were the only things keeping the transaction alive. But after this case, my patience is now at its limit. I'm going to proceed with canceling all transactions. It will be a huge blow to us. I'm sure this info will be passed on to other companies as well, and I think there will be serious consequences. I think so too, sir. But don't worry, I don't think they'll go bankrupt anytime soon, and we can introduce your workplace's employees to new opportunities for employment. Really? Oh, and if you're okay with it, we would love for you to join us, you see. Double, really? All of our plans have been realized thanks to you, son. To be honest, I was thinking about having you marry my daughter. But isn't your daughter still in high school? I'm telling you that you're that much of a great guy, son. I have high expectations for you when you come to work with us, and should you do so, your salary will be double what it is now. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so happy with your offer, sir. Wonderful. So let's proceed with the arrangements. First of all, let's talk about future transactions. And so, all transactions have been canceled. The things you have done so far have been questionable, so there's nothing I can do about that. No! I'm also going to quit the company, sir, so you'll just have to do your best from now on. Oh, please help me. I don't know if I can keep companies from losing interest in the business. That's not my problem. I've never said anything to all the other companies' presidents anyway. Unlike my father-in-law, President Sasaki is trusted by other companies' elites and has very good connections. Other presidents of other companies that heard about this situation are apparently reconsidering their business dealings with us. Well, karma's a bitch, I guess. According to their accounts, my father-in-law seems to be a humble guy at first, but when he gets drunk, he always talks smack about his employees and tells stories about his heroism. It would be crazy to demand other people like someone, their stupid braggadocio notwithstanding. Oh, what to do? What to do? What to do?
What, Daddy? Is it something bad?
We might go bankrupt soon.
What? Why? No way! I can't believe it!
It's because you were cheating on your husband. Why would you do such a thing?
It's my fault!
Of course it is. Apologize to Mr. Shogo right now.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm the only one at fault. Hideki also came on to me, you know. And your lameness is most at fault for all this, Shogo.
Blaming someone else for your own love affair now, are we? You truly do have a twisted character, Miss Momoka. You can't even apologize, huh?
Because it's not my fault!
Shut up and apologize! Shogo, son, I'm so sorry about my daughter's wrongdoings. Could you perhaps go and convince the other company presidents? No. Please! In the first place, the reason why the transactions were canceled lies with you. So I don't have any business with what happens, nor do I care. I will give all my assets and business to you, son. No, thank you. No matter what you say, it's the same. I'm intent on abandoning you two. As soon as I said that, my father-in-law fell to his knees and started to sob. If the company was that important to you, there were a good many things it could have improved by now. Well, I don't care about these people anymore. After that, I got divorce forms and had her sign them before submitting them. Momoka seemed completely clueless about this, but she'll learn when she has to face the reality of paying the alimony and of her father's company going bankrupt.
Wait, why do I have to pay so much? What the hell does all this alimony bullshit even mean?
Seems like she didn't even know of the obvious penalties for committing adultery, and...
This is so unfair! I'll sue you!
That's what she's told me many times, but how can she not understand that it's completely pointless? In the end, she agreed to pay the alimony, but she thought her father would pay it all for her. But he was darn near bankrupt. He had no money to give her, and abandoned her. She ended up having to work. selling all her expensive clothes and accessories she had, but as a result of her materialistic selfishness, she's forced to do hard manual labor every day in a small factory. By the way, her lover is also currently working there. A demotion would have sufficed, but perhaps he got very concerned about what others thought of him, and his pride also wouldn't allow a demotion, so he quit. Seems like he was convinced he'd get another good job because he has experience at a big conglomerate. But in reality, he was only able to join his old workplace because of some connections. Unfortunately, he also had a recommendation from his wife's family, and because of that, since he had no real ability, he was transferred to the factory with Momoko. I guess the silver lining here is that their optimistic dream of being together every day has finally come true. The factory belongs to a subsidiary of President Sasaki's business, and the two of them have a strict confidant monitoring their every move. The lover was also divorced by his wife, but at least the two of them are living happily ever after now. As for my father-in-law's company, it didn't go bankrupt overnight, but he still lost a good deal of talented employees who changed jobs or simply quit the industry altogether. Then, eventually, the business collapsed. After going bankrupt, he became depressed and faced even more stress, accelerating his balding more than ever before. He now struggles to make ends meet with a part-time job. I'm really grateful for your help that time, buddy. It was a game changer. Nah, don't mention it, bro. That's what best friends are for, right? In reality, Kazuto works as a detective, and at my request, he went to find evidence of Momoka's affair. I never thought you would get divorced so soon, bro. That's what I thought, too. I'm not at fault for anything in this matter. I think if I live a little more comfortably now, things will get better. That's what I thought. But a few years later, through the introduction of President Sasaki, I decided to actually start dating his daughter. She is the complete opposite in appearance and personality, and we seem to be a perfect match for each other. However, I don't want to make a mistake next time, so I want to take a few years before deciding on marrying her. Once I feel like I can trust her completely with my life and purpose, I'll propose to her.